portion of Fox 43 AM Live is sponsored by Endeavor Private Wealth.
And we're back with Chris McGee, Managing Partner at Endeavor Private Wealth, for this week's segment on investing and wealth management. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
So Chris, risk-taking is an inherent part of investing since the outcomes of many investment decisions cannot be determined with certainty. What should people know about this fundamental but somewhat nebulous subject of investment risk?
Dana, it's good to be back with you and our viewers. Nebulous is an interesting word. While we kind of know what risk means, it's really a multifaceted and complex concept. Let's break it down and consider risk tolerance, risk aversion, and risk capacity.
Sounds good. Okay, so what do you mean by a risk tolerance?
Risk tolerance is a measurement of the maximum amount of uncertainty that an investor is willing to accept when making an investment decision. Basically, it suggests how willing investors may be to incur a short-term loss in an effort to secure a higher return in the future. Risk tolerance is influenced by a number of subjective and objective factors: risk aversion and risk capacity.
So tell us what role they play in determining an investor's risk tolerance.
Risk aversion is a psychological preference to avoid or minimize the risk of loss even when the probability is better for the financial outcome. Everyone likes financial gains, but losses hurt and they make us feel bad. And some investors have a very low threshold for that type of pain. Risk capacity, on the other hand, is a quantitative assessment of an investor's ability to assume risk in pursuit of an investment-related objective. It takes into consideration the investor's time horizon, net worth, income and expenses, liquidity needs, and of course their goals and objectives.
Are there other factors that provide insight into an investor's risk tolerance?
Yes, an investor's financial risk literacy, their knowledge and understanding of risk-related information, is another important determinant. And there are several others.
And Chris, you've referred to risk tolerance as a measurement. How is it measured?
Collecting and analyzing the objective inputs that we've mentioned is a pretty straightforward process. However, understanding the behavioral bias, beliefs, and experiences that shape each investor's attitude towards investing is much more nuanced. Risk tolerance questionnaires can be helpful in determining an investor's risk tolerance, but it's important that the one being used have been validated for reliability. And I believe that investors would also be well served by working with a trusted financial professional, one who understands the feelings and emotions which influence the decision-making process, and who has the skill and experience to provide a thorough risk tolerance assessment for the investor's consideration.
Well, Chris, thank you. And as always, we appreciate your insights. And everyone, to learn more about Endeavor Private Wealth, visit EndeavorPW.com.
The preceding portion of Fox 43 AM Live was sponsored by Endeavor Private Wealth.